motion by Councilman Woolley, supported by Councilman Missouri, to accept the agenda tonight with deletion of number 9. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say yes.
Yes.
All those opposed say no. Motion carries. Next on our agenda is item 4, the acceptance of the minutes of the meeting held November 20th, 2018, and dispense with the oral reading.
Motion.
Support.
We have a motion by Councilman Ramick, supported by Councilwoman Croft, for acceptance. Is there any discussion?
Mr. Chairman,
Councilman Woolley.
we do have to make a motion to those minutes to correct CCR number 11-595-1E to show motion by Woolley, supported by Croft, and unanimously carried.
Is the maker of the motion and the supporter in agreement with that amendment?
Yes.
Okay. All those, is there any discussion further on this item? All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
All those opposed say no. Motion carries. Next on our agenda is item 5, communications from Mayor Sollers.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I only have one item up under Mayor's communication tonight, and it is the motion to approve the purchase of 2 miniature cows from Rentschler Farms for the Taylor Petting Farm in the amount not to exceed $8,000, purchase to be paid from the Petting Farm operating account.
Support.
We have a motion by Councilman Johnson, supported by Councilwoman Pats, to approve. Is there any discussion?
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Mayor.
if I may, many of you are aware that we recently lost one of our main fixtures at the Petting Farm in Gracie the cow. After meeting with Melanie, the manager at the Petting Farm, the recommendation for this type of animal to come in, I don't want to use the word replacement because it's really, we're not trying to replace Gracie, but we do want to create an opportunity and an environment that there's, it's friendly for kids, and the closer they can get to the animals, the better. So these miniature cows will typically get 36 inches to 42 inches tall. We think that they'll be a great fit, and we will do a public outreach once the animals are in the farm, in our possession, and available for visiting, to have some type of naming contest. All of those details will come out at a later date, but this should be really exciting new addition to the Taylor Petting Farm.
Thank you, Mayor. Is there any further discussion on these items? Hearing none, all those in favor say yes.
Yes.
All those opposed say no. Motion carries. Mayor Sollers, anything else you have?
No, thank you, Mr. Chairman, that's all.
All right, thank you. All right, next tonight we'll go into the regular agenda. Item 6, the motion to approve the second reading to amend the Code of Ordinances, City of Taylor, Michigan, by adding a new chapter which shall be designated as Chapter 11, Medical Marijuana.
Motion to approve.
Support.
We have a motion by Councilwoman Cross, supported by Councilman Ramick for approval. Is there any discussion?
Mr. Chairman,
Councilman Woolley.
last time I just didn't bother saying anything, but I just want to say that the reason I voted no, and I will continue to vote no tonight, is I have nothing against marijuana. What you do in your own home is your own business. I do think there's medicinal purposes of it. It's just the fact that I don't want the facilities in my city, and that's why I'll be voting no.
Thank you, Councilman. Is there any other discussion on this item?
Mr. Chairman,
Councilman Missouri.
I too was one of the 2 no votes. Plan on reacting the same way. Similar to Tim, I see value in medicinal marijuana. I see what voters wanted both medicinally and recreationally, but that doesn't mean we want the industry in our neighborhoods. I think part of my reservations is as much about what I know as what I don't know. I looked at Colorado. The Detroit Free Press reported recently that 75% of the communities in Colorado have opted out of the marijuana industry. 75%. This is the state that's been doing it the longest. This is the state that knows the most about it. This is the state that was the guinea pig, that all the trials and tribulations are going to come in with bringing any new industry in, and 75% of the communities want nothing to do with it. I look at the state of Michigan up till now, 100, maybe 150 communities in the state. I got a list off the state website. It's dated, but it's what they have out there. 4 counties or 4 communities in Wayne County and nobody downriver. I don't know why Taylor wants to be the guinea pig. I don't know what 75% of Colorado and most of Michigan knows that we don't. But I know that I don't want to be the guinea pig. I don't want to distract from providing essential city services to a majority of our residents for something that may or may not be good for the long-term health of our community? Is there going to be tax revenue? Is there going to be jobs? Lansing told us a story at our public forum that they introduced 100 licenses in their community, and they did so with the belief of jobs and the belief of tax revenue and the belief of occupying buildings that were formerly empty. The end result is they killed off 75% of their industry. They put a moratorium, and they only renewed 25 of those 100 licenses. I don't know what Lansing knows that we don't know, but I don't think that's a success story. I really don't. Hard for us to do a financial analysis, hard to tell if there'll be jobs, hard to tell if there'll be tax revenue, which is more reason to pump the brakes. It's more reason to think about it, it's more reason to study it, and it's more reason to continue to focus on providing essential city services. This group up here should be proud of the progress we've made in the last 5 years. Let's keep doing that. Let's watch where this industry goes. Let's let the industry mature. The way that we've drafted this ordinance, there's roughly 60 businesses currently that would qualify to do business in the city of Taylor. I'm saying, let the industry mature. Let these guys figure it out. I think the state of Michigan hasn't figured it out yet. I don't know if the business owners, and I know we haven't. Let's let the industry mature. Let's let some other communities figure out what works and doesn't. And then, if Colorado is an example, there'll be more than enough time for the city of Taylor to get involved after the industry matures in the state of Michigan. Pump the brakes, give it some time, and if it turns out to be good for the city, let's do this at a later date.
Okay, is there any other discussion? Councilman, yes.
I just have a couple things I want to say too. You had talked about 100 licenses in Lansing. We're not even going to be close to 100 licenses. I mean, I think that was way too many licenses to just automatically give that out. I mean, that to me, starting out new, I think that's crazy to have 100 of them. And also being in the neighborhood, you're talking about being in the neighborhoods. I have a facility or a home that's a couple houses away from me who has the marijuana license, and so I smell that all the time. I would like it to be out of the neighborhood and in a facility that is someplace else, not close to. There's stipulations in here that says it can't be so many feet or whatever away from schools and churches and neighborhoods and things like that. So I want it out of my neighborhood, so I think that's a good thing to have.
Yeah, and I think also, the narrative on this too, I want to be careful with kind of spinning this out of control. We're leading on this in Downriver. We're going to be the first one to do it downriver, but also we're showing leadership on this issue. And I think that's an important point here as well. We're showing that we're starting off with a small amount of facilities, like the councilman said. I think that we're going to show Downriver exactly how we can do this the right way. And so I don't want to get too far in the weeds about, we're bringing medical marijuana to the neighborhoods, which we're not doing. It's actually going to be a really good ordinance to get it out of our neighborhoods. And I think that that's something that we should be doing.
Mr. Chairman?
Councilman Willie?
I understand wanting to get it out of our neighborhoods, and I agree with that. But anybody that has a caregiver's license, if you think that they're going to go rent a facility or buy a facility when they're growing it in their basement, which they've been doing legally for the last, 5, 6, 7 years now, they're not just going to say, well, I want to do the right thing and get out of the neighborhood because it's much cheaper to grow it in their own home. That's my biggest thing here. In the ordinance, it says they can only grow 12 plants. Well, I think everybody up here knows that that is basically moot, that there's no way we're going to be able to uphold that unless the state mandates it, and that's just not in the cards yet. So I want it out of the neighborhoods, but I don't think it's going to be out of the neighborhoods. And the other thing that I don't like is the fact that there has been people doing it legally in their homes, growing the medicinal stuff for years, doing it the right way, haven't broken any laws, and now we're basically throwing them out of business. And they are residents, and we're giving it to the big businesses to run it. So that's just another issue that I have with the system as well, and the ordinance. Thank you.
Yeah, I wanted to say one thing to that, because I also want to say that not everyone who grows it in Taylor are able to obtain marijuana in the city. And I think so give many people who do not have access to it, especially if we have the dispensary provisioning centers within the city, and they're not going to be in the neighborhoods. They're going to be in industrial areas that are I-2 and I-1, and I think that that'll give opportunity for many of the residents who use this medicine within our city, access to it, and I think that it would be a good thing for them to have it, at least, showing exactly how we're going to do this in the city and leading on it downriver. Is there any other discussion?
Mr. Chairman?
Councilman Bezura.
I agree with Tim. I hear your point, but I don't think your neighbor is going to quit doing what your neighbor is doing. I think they're going to continue to operate a completely, this is my opinion, I think they're going to continue to operate completely legally in the neighborhood. We wisely have built in Article 1 of this ordinance to try and, if we know they can legally be there, then let's set forth the rules on which they have to operate. We do know we're going to immediately be challenged in part of Article 1, but at least we are taking the lead and trying to control what's going on in our neighborhoods. But I don't anticipate whatsoever it leaving the neighborhoods. They're doing it legally, and I don't see why they would discontinue it. The other thing I would say is statistically, 1 to 2% of people in Michigan are medical marijuana card holders. So we're not talking about a majority of the residents of the city of Taylor. My earlier comments were about providing essential city services to a majority of the residents. We're talking about an ordinance here that at least immediately will impact 1 to 2% statistically of Taylor residents. So these businesses are going to go in to obviously service more than the 1 to 2% of the people that live in our community. And I would imagine that the 9 licenses, if either 9 is intended to only service the medical marijuana community, in which case now that recreation is legal, we're going to have to greatly expand the number of those licenses, or we've already built in 9 thinking that we're paving the way for recreational to become legal. So glad we're trying to control what's going on in the neighborhoods, but what I really don't expect is to change what's currently happening in the neighborhoods.